Welcome to Dangerous Prototypes. I'm Ian. Today we're exploring the electronics markets of Seoul, South Korea. That's right, markets. There's more than one. Seoul's markets aren't as famous as Tokyo or Shenzhen, but with huge manufacturers here like Samsung, there's a thriving electronic part market scene. We're going to start off at Yongsan, and then head over to Hacker Space Seoul and explore the maze of stores around Chung Gye Chung. We're in the basement of E-Mart, which is just one of the stores in the Yongsan shopping center. In the basement you have electronic components, but upstairs there's about 4 or 5 floors of computer parts, TVs, laptops, cell phones, just about any sort of electronic gadget you'd want. Most of the shops show a display in the window of what they have, then you go in and ask for it and they get it out of bags on the wall. It's not just through-hole either, they have a huge selection of reels and surface mount parts. Where we are now is called Sunan Plaza. It's basically a maze of computer part vendors. They've got motherboards, memory, hard drives, video cards, coolers, anything you need to build a computer. Yongsan is huge, and if you're into gadgets or computer parts, you're not going to be disappointed. But the selection of electronic components is pretty small. So now we're going to head over to Hacker Space Seoul, and they're going to show us around a second, even bigger electronics market.
So the space actually, right now, we're fully member supported for our current space. But to get started, in other words, to get members, a very few core members had to sort of pull ourselves up from the bootstraps to show people that we were doing or could do interesting projects.
특징 중에 하나가 플라스틱 빛을 싹 다 없앴어요. 저게 다 랩내 프린터에서 뽑은 부품들이잖아요.
They did away with these things so that you can actually use what's sold, and instead of making custom, they managed to take about like a quarter off of the cost that you usually pay. And then they pay people to attend the workshop and learn how to build themselves, and work this out and take the printer home with them.
This works in the same fashion that cicadas, the same mechanism. And so they have these clicking ribs, and every time they click, it makes a sound. So they all run in sequence.
That's very cool. Right outside Hacker Space Seoul is a tools, materials, and electronics part market called Chung Gye Chung. It's way more what we had in mind when we hear electronics part market. We're in Chung Gye Chung, which is an absolute maze. Akihabara had a couple buildings like the radio center with a labyrinth of little stands inside, but this is multiple city blocks covered by nothing but labyrinths of electronic stores, lots of LED shops, CNC cutting machines, plexiglass cutters, metal cutters. There's a big emphasis on tools and manufacturing here, more so than electronics components. It's really hard to get a good shot because there's motorcycles flying through this all the time. We're on the second floor of a building with bulk electronic parts. This place has a totally different vibe than Akihabara. There's all these little glass rooms and people have displays out front. Then you go inside and tell them what you want and they pull it out of these giant bags that are on the wall. Very cool.
Cheonggyecheon market is more located with other markets next to each other. So they, for example, they sell like acrylics, PVCs, and then fabrics, you name anything. So it's located right next to each other, and they have a couple of markets. They specialize in electronic parts. Yongsan Electronic Market is like, they have more consumer markets, but they do have electronic market in the basement. So I would say it's much difficult. It's really hard to approach Cheonggyecheon market, but they got better stuff and more stuff. But Yongsan Electronic Market is more approachable for beginners.
This place is insane. It's a winding maze. Every time you turn a corner, there's 4 more corners. Here we're at a 5-way intersection between electronic streets in every direction.
This is washer. Washer and rivets, various rivets, copper or everything we have.
One of the cool things about Chung Gye Chung is how much work is going on. They aren't just selling things. People are laser cutting acrylic, machining metal, and blowing glassware. One thing people always wonder about are prices, so we've been checking on the internet as we walk around. And things aren't cheap here. They're no cheaper than you get them online, and usually they're more expensive. The reason you come is to check things out and to get them today, not to get things cheaper. Totally by accident, we stumbled into this building. It seems to have 50 or 60 shops that all specialize in restoring video games. The building behind me runs the whole length of Chung Gye Chung. It's 4 stories tall. The first 2 floors are audio equipment, household electronics, that kind of stuff. But the top 2 floors are a warehouse for surface mount parts. Akihabara didn't have anything like this. It's amazing. Let's go check it out. Here you can just come and buy stuff off these reels by the meter. There's just about anything, and it's sitting here on a big rack. With Yongsan and Cheonggyecheon, Seoul has no shortage of electronic parts. Chung Gye Chung rivals Akihabara in both size and geek factor. A huge thanks to Dan and Hacker Space Seoul for showing us around, and thank you for watching. We'll be back in the workshop next week.